Ever stop to think how much those little impulse buys on your phone are adding up to, and how many subscription payments are sneaking out of your bank account every single month? Before I started using Rocket Money, let me tell you, I had no idea. But the first time I logged in, I saved $435. I couldn't believe it. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. I just love the dashboard. It shows everything in one place, even the subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. And if there's something you don't need, Rocket Money helps you cancel it. Plus, it alerts you if a bill increases or if something unusual pops up in your account. It's basically like having a personal assistant for your money. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/Kim today. That's rocketmoney.com/Kim. rocketmoney.com/Kim.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of April 13th, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
Okay, listen to this incredible story from Kentucky. Last year, Chase Cooper found out that he had a type of kidney cancer. Doctor says, all right, you need a brand new kidney, but you're going to have to wait 2 to 5 years on the transplant list. Well, Chase has 2 kids, and he's like, okay, well, what would happen if I went on Facebook? His post got shared over and over and over until it caught the eye of a total stranger, a gal by the name of Hannah Durbin. And she quietly went to get tested to see if she could be a donor. She didn't tell anybody. Turns out she was a complete match. She reached out to Chase's family, and then she was, of course, the donor. I mean, we talk about all the bad influences of social media all the time. So every once in a while, it's nice to have some good news coming out of Facebook. And on that happy note, you're about ready to get more tech smarts because every single thing is now a tech thing. And if you're a brand new listener to the show, where the heck have you been? But welcome. And if you're a regular listener, you look amazing, darling. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, your beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you have tapped into the most trusted, the biggest show, the best show, the award-winning show about all things digital. And you can find us on over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're also streaming as a podcast, as a webcast, inside the Komando community. And if you'd like to get the Kim Komando Show commercial-free, well, there are 2 places for you to go. That's Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. Just search for my last name, Komando, of course. And that would be with a K. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 American service members serving in 175 different countries. And I just love this. 200 ships at sea get the Kim Komando Show. Yes. All right. I need 2 things from each and every one of you. Number 1, tell one person about the show. That's it. And number 2, drop me your questions. Head over to komando.com and hit that link that says email Kim. Alrighty, every single day, I go to at least 35 different websites to make sure that you and I are both up to date in what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech right now. We're going to start with popular apps like TikTok and Lemonade. Now, you know, they have strong connections to China's Communist Party. And it's not just the apps, the TV in your living room, your phone, the Wi-Fi, even your smart refrigerator. Well, this past week, listen to this, okay? FBI Director Christopher Wray was in Washington giving a speech talking about how China is the defining threat of our generation. But you have to listen to this part.
China's hacking program is larger than that of every other major nation combined. In fact, if you took every single one of the FBI's cyber agents and intelligence analysts and focus them exclusively on China. Forget Russia, forget ransomware, forget North Korea, forget all the other stuff. China's hackers would still outnumber FBI cyber personnel by at least 50 to 1.
Oh my gosh, 50 to 1. Those are really, really bad odds in our favor, right? Let me tell you something. And so China wants to be the world's superpower. Their strategy, they're weaving their way into technology that runs our everyday lives. They're going to wait for that perfect moment to strike and then disrupt our entire economy. And moving on to number 2, it's not just China. Let's talk about Russia because they're coming too. There's another massive tech ban on the horizon. This time it's not TikTok, it's Kaspersky Labs. Yes, founded back in 1997 by Eugene Kaspersky, who studied cryptography at the KGB, sponsored universities, became one of the world's leading brands in cybersecurity and antivirus software. Get this. Over 400 million people, 240,000 companies use Kaspersky around the world. So the government has always been wary of Kaspersky, that Putin and the Russian government could anytime just force the company to hand over private data that they've been collecting on U.S. users, even surveil our citizens. Now, Kaspersky, I can tell you, they have always denied all these allegations. Based on executive orders from both President Joe Biden and Donald Trump, the U.S. is preparing to possibly ban Kaspersky from offering products and services here in the U.S. The ban could be announced as soon as this month. So if you are using Kaspersky products, you need to stop. If you are using Kaspersky antivirus, I want you to stop right now. Go to Total AV. That's what I want you to use. ProtectWithKim.com. Just $19 the first year. And that's ProtectWithKim.com. All right, number 3. Oh, we talked about TikTok. Now we have to talk about Temu. I know. Shop like a billionaire. All those Super Bowl ads, and they sell stuff really super cheap, like $20 wedding dresses, a $3 Bluetooth smart speaker. And you're like, oh, these are great deals, Kim. I love it. Well, how do you think you're really paying for this? All right. If you signed up for a Temu account, you gave them some personal information, right? And they have these cash incentive deals, right? You refer to a friend for money. Well, ExpressVPN did a little digging and they found, wow, if you have Temu, you got to listen to this. You give them permission to use your photos, your names, your voices, and a whole lot more, potentially forever, everywhere. Yes, that's right. So here's the deal. If you get an offer to sign up for anything that has a cash incentive, do some deeper digging because I bet you are the product. Moving on to number 4. Yes, Cybertrucks and Apple Vision Pros. What do they have to do in the same sentence? Well, let's start with Cybertrucks. After years of delay, some folks who spent up to $100,000 on a Cybertruck saying that, oh, it broke down within a minute, just a mile down the road. The car's showing rust. The steering is awful. The rear door is going to chop your fingers off. As for the Apple Vision Pro, it's too expensive, $3,500, $4,000 by the time you buy all the extras. There's really nothing to use it for. So people are returning it. Some woman got like 2 black eyes from using the Apple Vision Pro. So how did these 2 products come together in one story for you? They both were supposed to be revolutionary, but not so much. And finally, this coming in at number 5, I made a prediction at the end of 2022 that Google search was going away. And I had all these people saying, oh, Kim Komando, you don't know what you're talking about. Google can never be replaced. All right. It's 2024. And folks, we are watching the Google search site die. It is dying. Not just because of ChatGPT. The new generations are not using Google. I'm talking about Generation A, Generation Z. They're ditching Google. Instead of using it, they're using TikTok and YouTube because they say they get better search results. About 25% of all 18 to 24-year-olds head to TikTok before Google. Well, that's a bad thing. Yeah, Google's still the top dog, and we still go there to look up stuff. But here's the thing. At one point, no one would have ever thought that Google, the most powerful website in the world, could be dethroned. And it's happening right now. All right, coming up, we have a new thread at the gas pump to tell you about, and also a question that I've been getting in my email lately and also on social. What exactly is the dark web? And of course, we have all of your phone calls, and you have me. You don't want to miss that. You're on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, let me tell you, it's your last chance to win a $500 gift card. Yes, the last chance. So do it now while you're thinking about it. You have to do this by Monday morning. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Your chance to win a $500 gift card. I'm telling you, the odds are in your favor. Just saying. Again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, how about we start with Nancy in Santa Rosa, California?
Well, I have received as a gift from my company as an anniversary present something I've been yearning for many years. It's a Roomba 694 room vacuum that it just goes and you don't have to do the vacuuming yourself. And being a dog lover myself, I have a dog too. And there's plenty of dog hair for this little Roomba to pick up.
There's always dog hair, isn't there? Oh,
There is. We have a breed that supposedly is non-shedding, but he still manages to shed a little bit.
well, I'll tell you one thing is that, I built a house, and one of the things that the architect wanted was a black floor in one of the rooms. And I was like, there is no way I'm having a black floor with a golden retriever. Okay. It's just
No,
not
absolutely
possible.
not. You can cover no ills with a black floor when you have a golden retriever.
But you know what? The Roomba works great. I'll tell you. I mean, and what's nice is that you can program it to do its own thing when you're not around. And so when you come home, you're like,
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I hear wonderful things about it, but here's what put me on alert is that when you open the box, the plastic bag that the Roomba is actually packaged within has a little sticker on it that says, "Before you open this, go look at this website." My husband is a retired computer programmer. I have a lot of fear of technology because of what he knows and has shared with me. So we chatted about it. I looked online and I saw that these vendors who process film from these Roomba vacuums to help program the vacuum to work better in people's homes, some of those vendors had actually posted on social media some of the footage from these Roomba vacuums.
Yeah, but
and
see,
it was
but
very
your
personal stuff.
but your model doesn't have a camera.
It doesn't?
No, it has sensors. So there's no camera to record video feeds. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be careful. I mean, but it uses primarily sensors. It's not one of these, I mean, I hate to tell you this, but the company did not buy you the best Roomba, okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm not surprised there.
Cheapos, they cheaped out on you. But on the
What's the best Roomba?
Oh, I can't think of the model number that I have. It's pretty expensive. It's, I don't know, about $500-600 right now versus the $200 model, $300 model. I'd have to look at the exact one that I have. But I know that the 694 does not have any cameras on it. It uses sensors. But, there is something that you still need to look at. You want to make sure that you opt out of any data sharing. That's going to be inside the settings. You can also limit app permissions so that this way it's not going to have permission to say, share your location, have access to a microphone. I mean, and the camera and mapping reports and device status and all that other stuff. And if you're ever concerned about not just the Roomba, but anything else that you put inside your home on a Wi-Fi network, is that what I want you to do is to do what I do, is that you set it up on a guest network. And so you have all your good stuff on your primary network, right? I'm talking about your laptops, your phones, and Chromebooks, tablets, TVs, or maybe not even your TVs. But anything that may have access outside the home, that's where you put it on your Wi-Fi network. Your husband can totally set this up. But I'm talking about your smart appliances, your smart vacuum cleaners, your washer machine, whatever it may be, is that you keep that on the guest network. And the whole idea is that if, in fact, all these internet connected devices, one of them gets hacked, it's not going to affect your primary network. It's only going to affect the things that are on the guest network. And so I wouldn't worry about it too much because after all, they didn't get you the latest and greatest and with all the cameras. But, if you are concerned, again, opt out of data sharing, limit the app permissions, and then throw that sucker on a guest network and you'll be good to go. All right, let's head over to Colorado Springs. Hello there, Nathan.
Well, I was wondering, we recently got an email. We have a credit card with the Citizens Bank, and they sent us an email with a program that they have with Best Buy.
Okay.
It's called Upgrade Plus, and it caught our attention because we are kind of talking about getting a new PC. We've got a 10-year-old in the house and trying to think of how to just get him involved in computers and stuff. We've protected our kids for a long time from everything.
Sure.
And this program is interesting because it basically is kind of like leasing a computer like you would lease your phone.
Right.
And I didn't know if you were familiar with it or what your advice would be for that type of thing. It's really interesting.
Well, you know what? It is an interesting program. I did take a look at it. And basically, you're going to get a $1,000 MacBook, right, for 3 years, and you're going to spend $20 a month for this.
Right.
And then there's a final payment of close to $300. And so, when you add it all up, it's not a crazy amount that you're looking at as far as, am I paying over the $1,000? It's pretty near close to that. My problem with it is that you are buying a $1,000 MacBook that you are going to be using, you're going to be tied to for the next 3 years in your life. And that if something bigger or better comes out, that you're not going to really be able to go get it because you can't really break the lease. The upgrade path is every 3 years. And and so you do need to keep it until that final payment. Now, you do get Apple Care for, I think, 2 years out of the 3 years, but then you have to join something else in order to do it. But, I
don't know. Because Apple's last long time. I have a MacBook it's a 2011 MacBook.
And they last forever.
They last forever.
They do.
It needs to be replaced.
Yeah. But think about that. 2011, you've had this thing for 13 years. Okay. Right? I know. Okay. That's a long time. That's a long time. If cash is really strapped and like you said, you have a 10-year-old and you're trying to get them the latest and greatest or some, at least get them into computers in an environment that you can control, for $20 a month, it's not a bad deal. I just would be concerned about hanging on to something for that long, for that period, that long of a time, knowing how fast technology changes. You might be better off, telling you, getting the kid $150, $180 Chromebook, okay, and then not being tied to a program for 3 years because he's 10, he's going to high school. I don't know what he's going to need in high school, and now you're tied to this thing for 3 years. Life changes way too quickly, especially when it comes to kids and tech and what the schools are required. That's why I would be inclined to just get him a cheapo Chromebook, get him up and going. You can control that instead of being tied to a $1,000 computer that he may or may not be able to use when he starts entering, the upper grades. And you can buy, like I said, a cheapo Chromebook for $150, $200 on Amazon, and then you don't have to worry about that whole deal of hanging on to it forever. Nathan, thanks for your call today. I talked about this on the show before, and then I just got a slew of questions about it. I'm talking about a website called onlineverdict.com. What it does is it creates these mock trials to let litigators practice and to see how jurors might rule. So the attorneys present their cases, and then you get to be the judge. The review process is super easy, and it's a way for you to make some money. You go through the facts, you read the information, and then you make a ruling along with giving a few reasons why. There's no right or wrong answer. It takes about 20 minutes to an hour, and then you can earn about $60 a case. Yeah, not too shabby. Again, that's onlineverdict.com, onlineverdict.com. All right, still to come, what exactly is the dark web? What is it? Well, you'll know the answer here on the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. All right, coming up, we have a great tip about what exactly is the dark web, because I know so many people are saying, I hear about it, but I'm not really sure what it is. And also, why can't we just shut it down? And then there's a new threat at the gas pump. And of course, we have your phone calls. But before we get to all of that, the FBI is now warning about tech support scams that have taken in, $542 million in about 6 months. And it all starts with your bank or government warning about a computer hack. Okay. They're not doing that. It's just scammers. Okay. It goes like this. You get a call from someone to work for your bank. They tell you that, oh, a hacker from a foreign country is all over your account. And they say, you've got to move your money to a safe government account. And you need to do this right now. Okay. It's not a safe government account. It's the scammer's account. So what can you do? Be skeptical. If you get an unexpected email, a text, a phone call, warning about a data breach, just take in a deep breath, okay? And before acting, always check the source. You want to verify the message with the bank or with the agency. Okay, here's the deal. Never wire money. Don't send any gift cards. Don't go to an ATM and get a whole bunch of Bitcoin. That's the scammers' moves that they do every single time. Now, if you're sitting there saying, Kim Komando, I know this. Why are you telling me this? Why are you harping on this? Okay. Well, because I bet you that there are some people who are listening right now who didn't know because they're not as smart as you. They're not as tech savvy as you, which means there's probably somebody in your family that you need to tell right now. So if you have an older adult in your family, I want you to warn them about this. And as a matter of fact, since you're so tech savvy, you say, you know what, if you ever get anything like this, I want you to make sure that you call me and I will walk you through exactly if it's legit or if it's not. Yes, do that now. You might just save somebody's savings. All right, back to the phones we go with Matt in Libby, Montana. Hi there, Matt.
Everybody's a long-time listener.
I know.
I've been listening to you for over 10 years, and I really love the new newsletter format.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Matt. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, I actually unsubscribed from kind of the old ones, and then I got this new one, and we just love it.
Oh, okay. I got to tell you something. I know the old ones sucked. They did. 100%. That's why we redid them so they didn't. They would never be that way again. I promise you. So, what's going on? How can I help you out?
Yeah, well, we've got an amazing dog who is 5 years old in perfect health, about the best dog we've ever had.
Nice.
Except, we just got his blood work done too, and everything came out stellar. But he's been having seizures for about 3.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And Libby is a tiny little town, 5 stoplights. And, not really much stuff that our vet can do. We've been trying all kinds of, different medications and things. So basically, long story short, our vet wants us to take him to the neurology department down at Washington State University. And that's something that we're going to need a little help to do because it's $3,600 to get them down there. So what we're trying to do is start up, a GiveSendGo or a GoFundMe campaign.
Okay.
But what I need your help with is we don't really know how to promote it because we're not really big on social media or anything like that. So that's where we're kind of at a loss.
Yeah, and see, it's with GoFundMe or what was the other one that you mentioned? GiveSendGo.
GiveSendGo, yeah.
I mean, either one of them is that you do need to have a compelling story. Okay, so of course you're going to have videos of you interacting with the dog and the dog being a member of the family. Because listen, I've got a 5-year-old golden retriever that. I mean, she is like my child. I totally get what you're saying. I mean, it's and she talks to me. I mean, she really does. And she takes care of me and she knows when I'm down. She knows when I'm happy. I was in the pool last night and she jumped in the pool with me. And I'm like, Abby, I need my space. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of something. So after you do this engaging campaign, you put it up online. You're right. Then the next step is how do I promote it? Obviously, are you on Facebook?
Yeah, but not very active at all.
Okay. Well, in order to promote this, you guys are going to have to start being active. Okay. I mean, it's not like you can just put it on GoFundMe and then you hope that suddenly, somebody's going to stumble across it and then give you some money. So you're going to have to start engaging in social media, start joining some Facebook groups that are associated with what breed dog that you have. What breed is the dog?
He's a Belgian Belgian Malinois.
Okay, so start joining some Facebook groups that are geared towards that breed, and once you're in there, that's when you can start sharing the campaigns. On Instagram and Twitter, you want to start using relevant hashtags like crowdfunding and dog lovers and pet health. If you have any email contacts, you can set up an email newsletter with whoever you may know and encourage them to share it out with whoever they know. I would also look at try to narrow down some pet dogs influencers and some pet blogs so that this way you can maybe have them share your story as well. See, it's all about sharing, right? Getting it out there. Your local businesses, community bulletin boards. I would reach out to your local radio station, your local TV station, anybody who would do a human interest story and then involve the community to support a cause. You know, it's going to be some great content for them. And you always want to keep donors updated on the dog's progress. And if you could find a company, Matt, that would able to match donations for a certain period of time, that's when you can also lower that $3,600 in half or even in a quarter. So you've got different options there. But in order to get started, you know, you've got to have somewhat of a list and to create that story about why your dog is having seizures and what we can do to make sure that this stops. I mean, it's a matter of getting your voice heard, getting it out there. And social media is the best way to do it because that's everybody hangs out, using the right hashtags, telling the story to whoever you can, like you did right here. And when you get your GoFundMe up and running, let me know because I'd like to take a look at it myself. Hey, you know, I'll contribute out as well. And, you know, I'm happy to do so. Matt, thank you for your call today. All right, there's a new threat at the gas pump I need to warn you about. When you do go get gas, you've got that routine down pat, right? You know what to do. You're going to give that card reader a little wiggle. You're going to shake the keypad. You're going to make sure that those tamper evidence seals are not broken to make sure that nobody's going to be stealing your credit card. And just when you thought that you had it all figured out, well, I know it's time to add a few more steps because now there's something called shimmers. Yes, let's all do the shimmy. Shimmers. These are way harder to detect. Seriously, they slide right into the card slot and they target the chip on your card. They can steal the data from your card's chip, your card number, and guess what else? Your PIN. Then the fraudsters clone your card and they go on a complete shopping spree. So how do you fight back? Well, when you're sliding your credit card into the reader, I want you to pay attention to see how it feels. Okay. Is it a little bit harder to get it in there? Is a little bit resistance? Is the card getting stuck along the way? Those are some red flags. And also want you to take a good look at the card reader too. Make sure that it's not tampered. But I'll tell you, the best bet for paying for gas is to not use your credit card at all, your debit card, is that you really want to use Apple Pay or Google Wallet, because then you're not using any type of physical card. You're just going to tap your phone right to pay, and then it's just a heck of a lot safer. It has a really high levels of encryption. That's Google Pay or Google Wallet. Now, if you just sat there and said, I don't know how to set those up, Kim Komando, well, that's why you need to call me. I'll help you out step by step, as well as we've got a lot of instructions over on the website at komando.com. That's with a K, of course. All right, still to come, what exactly is the dark web and why can't we shut it down? And of course, we have more of your phone calls that you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Kate in Palm City, Florida. Hi there, Kate.
I am having a dilemma with my computer. By the way, I've been listening to you for 100 years at least, and have always told all my friends about you. And I have lots of good. I've gotten a lot of good information from you over the years. So
awesome.
You were my first call.
Yes, perfect.
I am an interior designer, but I don't really do a whole lot of stuff with CAD, but I have a little project that I'm working on for myself. Mm-hmm. And I used to have, I can't remember who the maker was, but it was a program called 3D Architect.
Okay.
And I know this was in like 1999 or 2000. And it allowed me to, draw out the walls and the windows and all of that kind of stuff on a, two-dimensional on the on the computer.
Okay.
But then I could put in my cabinets and put in furniture and put in doors and
Beautiful.
walls and windows. It was really simple. And but then it also had a 3D feature, so you could almost be like
You could walk
sitting on the
through.
roof,
Yeah.
looking down at it. And it's not even necessarily a walkthrough that I need. I just want to see how it looks from up above at a slant, like you're actually seeing where the doorway
Sure.
goes and can you get through it and,
Yeah, I get.
and all
yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah, and and I think I do remember the program that used. It was just like, here, pick a cabinet or pick a couch and put it here, and then put it there, and it was relatively simple to use.
But it also did things like the architectural features, like windows. Do you want windows? Okay, here. Do you want a staircase? Here's how it goes. You have to, slide the mouse around to the shape of the. So it did more than just, floor planning. It had architectural aspects to it.
Well, let's talk about what's available today, because we're going to obviously, that program's like hasta la vista, baby, right?
Right.
So,
right.
I spent many years with an architect recently and an interior designer because I was building a house, right? And I'm good at a lot of things, but this is not my forte. As a matter of fact, I mean, even now in my home office and studio, is that I called up Anita and I'm like, Anita, you have to come over and help me, okay? Because I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't want to buy a couch because it's going to be the wrong thing. And then she just came over and like, I don't know how you do what you do, but she just like goes poof, and the things appear and it's perfect. I'm like, oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that. Like hanging the tabletop on the wall. I'm like, wow, that looks beautiful. Okay. They both use a program called SketchUp, and it's very powerful. It does 3D modeling. You can draw floor plans. You can create 3D models, and it also does allow you to do that walkthrough and that fly through. And you can say, like, you can put a picture of like a 6-foot person, 5.5-foot person, and you can say, how is it going to look from here? It does run in the browser, and I'll tell you, the architect who did our house used SketchUp 100%.
Okay, well, I've heard of it, but I know it has other elements like just graphic design and stuff, but I didn't realize that you could actually do it with the interior design.
Sure, for sure. And then if you're looking for something not quite so complex, there's a couple of others that are easier to use. The thing that I like about SketchUp is that it is free, but in addition to that, there's a lot of online tutorials to help you use it. There's another one called Sweet Home 3D that's also free and open source. That is really more of an interior design tool versus SketchUp is for the architect. Let's build a house, a she shed, whatever it may be. And we're also going to put stuff on the inside. Sweet Home 3D is more of doing like the inside job. And then there's also Room Sketcher that is, probably not as full featured as something that you might want to use. But again, if you're looking for something to like just get the whole thing done, that's where we're going to look at SketchUp. Sweet Home 3D, something a little bit easier, and also Room Sketcher. I'll tell you what, I'm going to do you a solid, and I'm going to put links to all of these inside of our free newsletter. So if you're listening right now, you're like going, oh, what did Kim Komando just say? Well, go over to getkim.com, sign up for our free newsletter, because we always put links and things like that inside the newsletter. Again, that's getkim.com. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us, and always appreciate loyal listeners like you. Of course, we're going to put the names of all those programs in our newsletter coming up, but here's the deal. If you don't get our newsletter already, you can sign up at getkim.com. But this is your last chance to enter to win a $500 gift card. And when you enter to win the gift card, you also are signing up for just one issue of the newsletter. So you're going to love it. So go to winfromkim.com. That's just this weekend only, the last weekend to win $500, a $500 Amazon gift card. Again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, so you've heard about the dark web. It's that shady place about illegal drugs where you can buy that, money laundering, crimes. It's where stolen credit card details and IDs, they just end up for sale. And it's hard to believe, but scammers have this buying and selling platform. It looks like an underground online shopping site. You can purchase ransomware kits, phishing campaigns, lists of email addresses, And even customer service reps, you can hire them to deal with your victims who don't know how to maybe pay with Bitcoin. So the dark web is not indexed by Google, which means you have to, use other tools like Tor in order to get there. But why can't we shut it down? We just can't. It's just too decentralized. The dark web does have legit uses for privacy, free speech, and circumventing censorship, just so you know. And if you need more information about the dark web, as always, just go ahead and search for it at komando.com.
Hey, the vibes are slipping. I think it's time to bring out the Velveeta shells and cheese. The holidays are a time to go all in on indulgence. Headline your meals with the rich, creamy meltiness of Velveeta shells and cheese and satisfy your holiday cravings like no other. Bring that main course energy to your side dish. Celebrate extra with Velveeta these holidays.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, here's something for you to remember the next time you get inside of an Uber or Lyft. Okay, 1/3 of rideshare drivers say that they have been in a car crash. That's according to a study by the University of Illinois researchers. Yes. When they used a cell phone, okay, because everybody does, they say they were distracted, they drove tired, or they were in an unfamiliar area. Oh, wow. What about all the drunk folks that are in the back seat? Yes. So what this means is that when you are in an Uber or Lyft, I want you to make sure that you always wear your seatbelt. Do not be Princess Diana, okay? Put on your seatbelt. And on that note, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this. It's America's largest, best, most trusted, it's just the most awesomest show about all things digital. I might be a little biased because I'm the host, Kim Komando, your digital goddess, here with you once again. And you can find my show across 420 fantastic top stations across the United States. And if you want to listen on your own time, we have a few options. Number one, you can go inside the Komando community. You get the show as a podcast, as a webcast. You can also get it commercial free on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Just search for Komando, which is my last name, of course, with a K, Komando. And of course, there's somebody who's saying like, oh, I bet you she goes commando. Bet you she does. What do you think? I do. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving more than 375,000 American servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and Space Force in 175 different countries. Alrighty, every single day, I go to all these different websites. I'm talking about news sites, research sites. I even look at some of the peripheral sites that I know that my white hat hacker friends are going to. And here are the top 5 things you need to know about tech right now. And this should come as a shock to you. This is big news. Apple has notified people in 92 different countries. Take that in for a second. 92 different countries that their iPhones have been targeted in a mercenary spyware attack. The alert says that the attack will target you specifically because of who you are and what you do. So mercenary spyware aims at high-profile targets like journalists, activists, political figures. Now, this isn't just your everyday cyber criminal trying to swipe your credit card or your password. These are complex tactics, and it's actually fueled by corporations and governments. Usually takes millions and millions of dollars to pull something like this off. 92 different countries means that someone or something has a lot of money to fund this type of attack. So if you are affected, you'll receive a threat notification when you try to log into your Apple ID account online, along with an email and iMessage alert. Wow, that's some big news right there. All right, moving on to number 2, let's talk about Google. Finally, it's here. Okay, I'm talking about Find My Device. We've had it on Apple for years. Now Google's Find My Device is finally just rolling out. It's Android's version of Apple Find My. You can track your lost items, your phones, put them on your card, your wallet, whatever it may be. All you have to do is use Google's Find My Device network. Basically, your device will shoot off a Bluetooth signal that gets noticed by other Android devices around it, and they pick up the location. They send it back to Google. It's a gradual rollout, so you have to check your settings app to see if it's available to you or not. This is kind of a cool part. If you have a Google Pixel phone, a Pixel 8 or 8 Pro, you can find your phone now, even if it's dead. Number 3 in our list, the FCC has borrowed nutrition labels from the FDA for your internet service provider. They have to show the broadband nutrition. Looks like one that you might see on a cereal box. You see things like monthly cost, download speeds, if there's a fee to break your contract early. Yeah, now we have all these fees. If there's a limit on how much data that you can actually use, might tell you that your internet's going to slow down when it gets super busy. And internet companies cannot hide these labels. It has to be right there when you sign up, online and in stores, and easy to find whenever you need to check it. And the FCC said they're going to be watching. They're going to be watching to make sure that the ISPs actually roll this out. One of the things that's not shown, I want you to be really careful with this. You know, when you signed up for your internet, they said, oh, you know, you can get these like free sports package. Do you like Hallmark movies? We'll give you those free for 3 months. Okay. And then, of course, we all forget about it. We just keep paying it. So check your bills. Moving on to number 4, you know, your TV is connected to the internet if it's a smart TV. And just like anything else connected to the internet, it can be hacked. That's why if you have a smart TV, you should update it. Okay, certain LG TVs around the world this past week were revealed that they have these big security gaps. So like some hacker could actually get into your TV, install some apps. And then what can happen if they're in your TV? No, you're not going to be forced to watch Judge Judy 24/7 or the Lawrence Welk Show. Is that they may have access to your other network, your real network, the network where you get work done. So normally you have to punch in a PIN code in order to do certain things. So the hackers have gotten all around that. So the bottom line here is that you need to keep your television safe. I know it's kind of ridiculous that we have to think like this, but it's true. So no matter your brand of TV, make sure that you get into the settings menu, figure out how to see if it has any firmware updates. Because it's not like the TV manufacturer is going to say, hey, Joe, how are you? You like that Sony TV? You like that LG TV? Just want to let you know we have an update. No, up to you to go get it. And finally, this coming in at number 5, this is a story that you're going to want to share with your family members and friends. And when you do, they're going to go, wow, you are so smart. How did you get so smart? You don't have to tell them about me, but I wish that you would. You see, back in 1998, the San Francisco Municipal Transportation Agency, their train system, received a massive upgrade, an automatic train control system on the entire subway. The heart of this system, remember, it's 1998, okay, 26 years ago, floppy disks. Those 5-inch disks that hold the software that controls when and where the trains go for all the people of San Francisco. Well, because computers back in 1998, really large hard drives were super expensive, and they don't have that. So someone has to load the software from the floppy disk onto the computer that controls the trains. So 26 years have passed, a lot of new tech, right? And artificial intelligence. So now San Francisco is like raising their hand saying, floppy disks degrade between 20 and 25 years. We're at 26 years. It's probably time for us to upgrade. You think? All right, coming up, we have some great side hustles to make more money, signs of keyloggers on your phone, and what the airlines are doing with your data. And of course, we have all of your phone calls, and you have me, Kim Komando. All right, folks, it's the last weekend. It's the very last weekend, your last chance to win a $500 Amazon gift card. You need to go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. It's your last chance. All right, what's the catch? You get one issue of my free newsletter. And even if you already get the newsletters, you can enter to win. Again, winfromkim.com. Do it now while you're thinking about it on your phone, tablet, wherever you are. Winfromkim.com. All right, let's start with Myron in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Hi, Kim. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. I've been listening to you for many years, and I was always amazed at the breadth of your knowledge. And now I have a question, finally, to ask you.
Awesome. Thank you.
70 years ago, 75 years ago maybe, my father took family movies, and I recently had them converted to digital format.
Nice.
But as expected, they're kind of faded.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering, is there a way to enhance these old movies?
Yeah, there is. I will tell you that there's no magical button, though, Myron. Like, it's not like where you can just feed in the video and you say, oh, poof, make it all better for me. Okay. So, okay.
Well, That's what I was hoping.
Well, I know we would all hope that. And if you start believing everything that you read online, they'll say, oh, if you just pay us $300, we'll be able to do that for you, with this particular tool. But I would tell you that from my experience is that you always need to have a little bit of a human touch. Even now with AI built into a lot of these tools, you still need to have a discerning eye when you start looking at all this stuff. Is it just the footage itself, or is there anything wrong with it, or you're just trying to do like color correction, maybe cleaning up the footage?
Just cleaning it up. It's not even color. It's all black and white 16 millimeter film that has just deteriorated over time.
Wow, black and white. Those are so cool, though. Yeah. Oh, when you can make them, it's always amazing to me, Myron, that when you look at old photos and videos and you think, you know what, they were living their whole lives like we are right now. It's just different times. They didn't have the internet. They didn't have electric vehicles. Well, they did, but there was only one or two, at that time. And they didn't have the annoying Prius drivers in front of them. It seems like every time I get behind a Prius. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Today, I'm like, oh my gosh, is it just Prius drivers? Please help me. And I know many people are going to say like, okay, I drive a Prius. Okay, I love you. I'm just saying sometimes I get behind the worst ones. Adobe Premiere Pro. And they have something called After Effects, and they have Adobe Premiere Elements, by the way. So I would probably encourage you to get the Elements program first, because there is a learning curve, and you can download it at Adobe's site. They have a monthly membership program where you can get it on Amazon. You can buy it as a software download there as well, and get with Photoshop too if you needed that. But Adobe Premiere Elements is pretty easy to use, but they have a set of tools for color correction and also cleaning up footage. Now, as I mentioned, there is a bit of a learning curve, but the beautiful thing about this, Myron, is that you can get to YouTube, right? And at YouTube, they have tutorials for everything.
Yes, they do.
Okay. I mean, I went online on YouTube not too long ago to know how to repair a light switch. And I'm like, okay, that was easy. Don't need to call anybody to come do that. So again, Adobe Premiere Pro or Elements. Now, there is a free program that will also enhance old films. It's called DaVinci Resolve. So if you're on a budget, you want to try a freebie, again, DaVinci Resolve. And then there's another one, but I don't think you need this because it doesn't sound like that the footage is that horrible. Is that there's something called 4D Dig Video Repair that a friend of mine used with great success. So I guess in answer to your question, number one, I'd look at DaVinci Resolve. It's free. They've done some great movies using this video editing program. Have you seen The King's Speech?
No, no.
Oh gosh, you need to see The King's Speech, Myron. Watch it this weekend. It's about World War II and then Princess Elizabeth and her dad King George and what was going on at that time. And he had a bit of a speech impediment, and it's a relatively true story. It's fabulous. But the reason why I bring it up is that was done on DaVinci Resolve as far as a video editing program. Again, totally free. And so take a look at that. And then if that doesn't work out for you, then look at Adobe Premiere Elements. And if you need any help afterwards, I'm here for you. Just give me a call back. And Myron, thanks for listening all these years. Let's see, Paul in St. Paul, Minnesota. Hi there, Paul.
I took a trip last week, 200 miles each way in Minnesota, and I would have loved to have known where to stop for the best gas prices as I drove along. And I found one gas station 30 cents cheaper than all the others along the route.
Wow.
And that was 10% of the price.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I couldn't find on Google Maps how to do that. And I looked on Waze, and they needed you to drive 100 miles before they even gave you the option to look at gas prices. So I don't know what Waze offers. But Waze is owned by Google Maps.
Correct.
Google. So I would have thought that Google Maps would have this option. But with the holidays coming up, a lot of people are going to be driving 100, 200 miles, visiting friends, relatives. I'm sure other people, listeners, could also use a tip how you can look ahead. And if you know your car holds 10, 15 gallons, and if you know you're getting about 10, 20 miles to the gallon, you can start looking for gas prices along the way where
Sure.
you might want to tank up. So I just was hoping that you guys might have some tips.
Well, you want to look at Gas Buddy. You know, everybody knows that that's been around for a long time. It really is designed to give you the cheapest gas prices. But inside there, on their website, they have, Gas Buddy has Plan a Trip. And so that's where you can enter in where you're coming from, where you're going, that you want to stop, say every hour or so, hour and a half, whatever it may be. And then it's going to show you the best spots to stop for gas. So that this way...
So I can't do that on the app on my phone?
You know what? I'm not sure if it's available on the phone yet. I know it's available on the website. So if it's not available, if it's not available on the app, then you might have to go to the website. Okay.
Okay.
But then, so while you're driving, it will show, Gas Buddy does show the gas prices along your route. Okay. Now with Google Maps, it's not really, like you said, it's not really made for this. It's not. You know, you can search for local gas stations. It will show you gas stations around your route, but it's not going to pick the cheapest gas. For the cheapest gas, that's where we always go back to Gas Buddy. I mean, you know, people have tried to compete against Gas Buddy for years, but they can't just because they just have the whole market wrapped up. So check out Gas Buddy. Like I said, on the website, I do know that they have Plan a Route, and it might be in the app right now. I'm not sure because I haven't used the app for a while. But again, just check the website and the app. Again, what you want is Plan a Trip feature. And Paul, thank you so much for your call, because you're right. A lot of people are going to be traveling by car, and gas is so expensive that we want to make sure that we always get the cheapest gas wherever we're going. And thank you for your call. Okay, here's something that you may not have thought of. Have you ever wondered how exactly your phone knows how many steps that you take every single day? I mean, have you ever thought about that? Well, inside there's a tiny, tiny piece of tech called an accelerometer. It's a sensor that measures the motion and orientation of your device. So when you take a step, your phone moves, and the accelerometer can sense that. It calculates the number of steps that you've taken. So where's the best place to put your phone? It's in your back pocket, or ladies, the thigh pocket of your exercise pants. And even then, it's just a ballpark figure. Hey, we got more of your phone calls and more of me coming up that you don't want to miss.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's favorite vodka for a reason. From the first legal distillery in Texas, Tito's is 6 times distilled till it's just right. And naturally gluten-free, making it a high-quality spirit that mixes with just about anything. From the smoothest martinis to the best Bloody Marys. Tito's is known for giving back, teaming up with nonprofits to serve its communities and do good for dogs. Make your next cocktail with Tito's. Distilled and bottled by 5th Generation Inc., Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume. Savor responsibly.
All right, coming up in just a few minutes, some side hustles to make more money. And then later on, so many questions I get. I think there's a keylogger on my phone. Somebody's tracking everything I do on my phone. Help me, Kim. Help me. How do I know if it's there? Well, I have a list of the signs that it might be on your phone coming up. And before we get to all of that, you know, let's talk about data gathering. You may not realize this, but so many of us are traveling now that airlines are collecting and tracking all your data. I'm talking about your booking details, your name, your email, your phone number, passport, of course, the weight of your bag. That's all I give it. But think about this. The next time you use the onboard Wi-Fi, the sites you visit, where you search, the apps you use, all that's being monitored too. They're also tracking what you drink, what you eat, and whether or not your beverage is empty, how many cocktails you're having on the plane, your flight history, complaints to see if you're a good passenger or not, the movies that you like to watch. So why are they collecting so much data on us when we're flying? Well, the money, honey. That's right. It's all another way for them to make some more bucks on us. All right. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm so happy, and I would hope that you would join me because we do Kim Komando Today. It's the audio podcast as well as the video podcast. So, of course, you can get the audio podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And the video podcast, you can get that wherever you get your videos. But the easiest place for me to really send you is at youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time is when it's live. And we get your comments, we chit chat, we talk about what's going on in the tech world. And then, of course, if you don't catch it live, you can always catch it on demand, whether audio, video, as I said before. This past week, we we're talking about how insurance companies, I don't know if you realize this, that they're using drones to look and see what's in your backyard. Maybe you might have some junk back there. Maybe there's problems with your roof. Maybe you have a swimming pool or trampoline that you didn't tell the insurance company about. And then the insurance company is going, well, that doesn't look good to me. I'm going to cancel this person's policy. Well, that's exactly what happened to CJ Sven. And Andrew Babinski and I had a chance to talk to CJ this past week. Here, take a listen. CJ, tell us what happened. You got canceled.
We get a letter, you're up for non-renewal. We're like, oh, that's nice. Great. We won something. What's that mean? No, we don't get a new insurance policy for the next year. And so I called the phone number that was on the short letter. And they said, oh, yeah, no, we've determined that your property doesn't meet our underwriting guidelines and we're not renewing your policy.
So when you spoke to them, what did they say that was in your yard that made you ineligible for renewal?
It was kind of a lengthy process. I talked to several different people. They kind of gave me the runaround. And I finally got to somebody else that had said, yeah, well, we have pictures of your property and there's miscellaneous debris and other things in your yard that just aren't up to our standards. I'm like, okay, well, I'll clean it up. I mean, it's just stuff that we move around the yard. You know, it's things we use. It's not junk. It might appear as junk to someone, but it's things that we use, you know, whether it's lawnmowers, bicycles, recycling cans, lawn furniture, what have you. We'll just tidy it up or, oh, no, you've been canceled. We're not reconsidering renewal.
Sounds like everyday stuff. I mean, everybody has in every backyard.
I mean, is it a little backyard that's just loaded up, or is it a big backyard? And you talked about having furniture and recyclable cans. I mean, was it combustible junk?
Are you cooking meth in your backyard?
Right. Yeah. Just a small meth factory. But, it's just a small one.
Yeah.
No, we do have tires. We use tires seasonally and for race purposes. And that's when it kind of got weird, was because I looked at Google Maps, looked at the property, and I know where the tires are. I know what I'm looking for. You couldn't really see them.
We have a clip from ABC7 in Los Angeles showing your property.
Sure. So to be honest, though, looking at that video, I mean, it looks like the backyard of a majority of Americans.
Exactly.
There's got to be another motivation by the insurance company to want to cancel your policy.
Yeah, well, that was just, like I said, it was kind of this, I guess maybe surreal is the word. I don't know, just when I talked to you, I probably talked to maybe 8 different people.
Which is ridiculous.
All having to do with AAA. And one of them said, well, what's this? We see this structure. What's this structure? It's on the north side of your property. There's like this white structure over there. You mean our gazebo? Yeah, it's a frame. What's that frame? It's a white frame. But yeah, that's our gazebo.
So CJ, were you able to get them after you cleaned it up and they had new photos? Were you able to get reinstated with the insurance, or did you have to go find somebody new?
Yeah, that was another scary part. Not with them. They were done. And we couldn't find anyone else locally, Farmers, State Farm, anyone else. Nobody would cover us because not because of the situation, just because we're in California.
Yeah.
They weren't writing any new policies. So thankfully to that ABC7 report there, I was able to get some resources where I actually found a listing of hundreds of insurance companies that will cover Californians, because it's just kind of a general thing. Hey, do you cover California? Sure, we cover California.
No.
Oh, you want homeowners insurance? No.
Now, if you want to hear the entire interview, it's just really telling, is on the audio side. Just search for Kim Komando today, wherever you get your podcasts. Again, on the video side, go to youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, David in St. Louis, Missouri. Glad to have you with us.
Well, my wife went on a trip to South America, and her Android phone was stolen. She was on a trip for 2.5 weeks, and then she got to Santiago, Chile, and she was ready to fly out. For 4 hours, she would have been out of Santiago, and her phone was just pulled out of her hand. She was on the streets of Santiago, and a person on a bicycle zoomed by, grabbed her phone while she was using it. She was looking at the maps to get a location of a restaurant, and the phone was open, and he just ripped the phone out of her hand. She was screaming, and she screamed pretty loud. And, people, came to her aid right away, but she obviously didn't get the phone back. Now, is there something I should do after the phone gets stolen? She called me on a friend's phone. She was with a group of friends, and she told me that the phone was stolen. I called the service provider right away, and they blacklisted the phone. I don't know what that does. They said the phone is inoperative now,
right.
But it doesn't help with the Wi-Fi. I had apps on the phone. We're seeing some peculiar activity, but I guess it's Windows is keeping someone out of our account. They keep trying to get in, unsuccessful logon attempts. But they got the phone. It was open. And what do I do afterwards?
Yeah.
I filed a police report.
Yeah, I mean, you can file all the police reports that you want, but it was in Chile. Okay, it's it's just, the reason what you hear in the background is that I had the Chilean gangs that are targeting homes in the United States target my house. So Chile is not definitely on my vacation destination list at any time in the near future. Well, if possible, let's talk about the steps, is that you might be able to remotely wipe the phone and erase the phone's data. And especially if she had any sensitive data and apps and things like that and stored on the phone. It's called Google's Find My Device. But unfortunately, you had to have that set up before any of this happened. Okay. Of course, you're going to notify your bank's financial information about the theft. You definitely need to change, obviously, every password. And in any account that you have, if you can still sign on to it, sign on to the account and change it from under security under 2FA, two-factor authentication, because they have the phone, they can get the 2FA codes, right?
Right.
Is that you change it to be using the Google Authenticator app. And basically that's a third-party app that you're going to put on your device, and that they won't be able to change any passwords, get into any accounts without knowing that 6-digit number that the Google Authenticator app is going to spit at you, but you have it on your device and they don't have it on their device. Okay.
Oh, I see.
And so that's really where it is. Obviously, you're also going to keep an eye on your credit reports but it's a complete nightmare. It just, this happened to a friend of mine in Rome, but her situation was a little bit differently. She wasn't on her phone, is that she was taking a picture of her 12-year-old daughter. And so a stranger walked by and said, "Hey, would you like a picture of the two of you?" And she said yes. And so they posed, and then the guy ran away with her iPhone. Okay.
Oh my.
Okay. So that's a $1,500 getaway. I mean, that's a lot of money. Same thing with your wife just using that phone. So again, unfortunately, you had to have all this set up beforehand. But I would definitely monitor your credit reports, go into all your different accounts. I would probably, I know this sounds maybe a little extreme, but I would close down any bank account that I had that would be associated with this phone. I would close down any financial account, like with Morgan Stanley, whatever that you might have on there. I literally would go and close any account and look at my Google Play apps and remove anything that could be associated with that phone. Because, once they have it, they can do all kinds of damage. So instead of wondering what's going to appear on my credit report, I would be more proactive and just close down every single account. But if you don't want to do that, then you can use the Authenticator app. But I would have a tendency to just pull the plug on the whole thing, and just say, it's gone. It's in the hacker scammer's hands, and they're going to steal from me. So what can I do to make sure that they can't get to me? Now, in the future, what you can do is just bring a burner phone with you when she's out and about. But, I know that's hard because we have our whole lives on our phone, and we just have to protect it, especially when you're going to some countries, not just Chile. I mean, it could happen anywhere. Like I mentioned, happened to a friend of mine in Rome. All right, so you want to make some extra money? Try the Neighbor app. It lets you rent out your garage or a parking spot. Super handy if you're close to the airport or maybe a concert venue. Maybe you're an expert on some niche subject. We'll go over to justanswer.com. Every answer puts $1 in your pocket. Some people say they're making a few $1,000s a month. Now, for those of you who love to drive, but you don't want to do Uber and Lyft, try Alto. It's a high-end ride-sharing app, treats drivers like royalty. You even get to cruise around in a sleek, all-white Buick Enclave. Again, those sites, the Neighbor app, Just Answer, and Alto. Still to come, signs that a keylogger might be on your phone here on The Kim Komando Show. All right, Morris in Houston, Texas. Hi there, Morris.
I thought I knew how to deal with computers, but I guess I'm wrong. I had to switch from a Mac to a PC. My house flooded a couple of years ago, and we had to take pictures of all the items that were damaged. And
sorry to hear that.
Not only did I take, yeah, me too. It's the worst calamity that ever happened to us. I took pictures. I had friends take pictures. And so I wound up getting pictures from memory sticks, from iPhones, and tablets. And I also, like I said, switched from a Mac to a PC. So bottom line is I have thousands of pictures on my PC. And now I just found out, not only do I have all those pictures, but I've actually got multiple files with the same name. And many of the pictures have quadruplicates. You know, it's crazy. Now, I started going through one file, and you could easily find the duplicates or quadruplicates in my case and delete them. But it took forever just to go through, one page of that. And I've got pages and pages and pages. So what I'm looking for,
and let me just stop you right there, Morris. I am not coming over to your house and getting rid of all your duplicate photos.
I wish you would. Well, I'm just trying to get an app that is safe, reliable, that will find all those duplicate pictures and basically not to delete them because it may inadvertently take a picture that shouldn't be deleted and, it got deleted and, of course, you can't get it back. But move it over into a temporary file, and then I'd be happy with that and do that. And I don't mind paying for an app that can do that because it'll save me hours and hours.
Let's talk about it. Okay, there's one that works on Windows and Mac. And you're interesting because most people go from Windows to Mac. You went from Mac to Windows, but that's okay.
Well, I had a lot of problems with my Mac. It turned out being very, very slow. And I actually called the Apple people, and they did their best in getting rid of some junk things that I had on there. And it just didn't work.
Yeah, you know what? It's to each its own. You know what I mean? Whatever you like. I mean, some people like Hondas, some people like Harleys.
Right.
The program that I'm going to recommend is called Duplicate Photo Cleaner. We have links to it over at komando.com. It's not very fancy. It does the job. But I think one of the features that you will like is that it will put all your duplicates into a separate folder. So it's just not automatically go, oh, these are 2 pictures of a faucet. He only needs 1. And you're like, no, that wasn't a faucet. That was my leg or whatever it may be. Then there's also another one called CCleaner. This program's been around for quite a while, CCleaner. But there's a paid version that also will find duplicate photos as well as files, because you said you also meant files. So take a look at Duplicate Photo Cleaner or CCleaner, and then you're going to be like, oh, thank you, Kim Komando. All the duplicates are gone. Thank you for your call today, Morris. Oh, spy apps. They are the latest weapon in relationships drama. These secret keylogging apps can let somebody see your email, your photos, your text, your location, your social media accounts. Okay. Don't get paranoid that there might be an app on your phone. There are some signs to look for. Number 1, your battery draining faster than usual, and you see an increase in data usage. Your phone may be hot to the touch, even though you haven't really used it. And then look at your screen time reports on your phone. It's going to show exactly when you've used your phone. You can say, wait, that wasn't me. And also check your account at the Apple App Store and Google Play for any apps that you know that you didn't download. Now, let me tell you, just because you think that your phone is acting weird doesn't mean that it is. Could just be something that you might be guilty about, right? Hey, listen, don't forget, enter to win that $500 gift card at winfromkim.com.
Thank you for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 3.
All right, aren't you glad I said banana? Yeah. I think Walmart is done talking about fruit this past week. It just agreed to a $45 million settlement for overpriced weighted goods and bagged citrus between October 2018 and January 2024. So, why am I talking about this? Well, you might be able to get some money back. You could get back 2% of what you spent, up to $500. If you don't have a receipt, no problem. You can still get $10 to $25. We have the link that you need over at komando.com. Just go ahead and search for Walmart lawsuit and it'll pop right up for you. Because after all, that's just an example of the transference of intellect and knowledge that happens here week after week as we talk about all things digital. After all, I'm Kim Komando. Your beloved digital goddess here with you once again. It's the biggest show. It's the best show. It's the most trusted show about everything that's happening in the tech world, really. And you can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're also available as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and maybe as part of your Komando community membership. And a big hello goes out to all of our listeners in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force in 175 different countries who are joining us on the American Forces Network Radio. And thank you, everyone who's listening, for your service to our country. It means so much to all of us here at the Kim Komando Show. All right, you can count on me to check at least 35 different websites every single day to bring you up to date with what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things you need to know right now. Okay. Everyone, can you hear me? I mean, seriously, answer yes or no if you can hear me. Did you see what I just did? I tricked you. Now, if I was a phone scammer and you said, yes, I can hear you, you would have just handed me the keys to your kingdom, okay? Scammers want you to say yes. It's their favorite word. They want to record you saying it along with something else. Now, if you do say yes, it can be used to get into your bank account, authorize something that you didn't want, maybe make a huge purchase. These type of scams are just booming all over the country. So, a quick guide to what you should do. If you answer a call from anyone and they immediately ask if you can hear them, I want you to hang up, okay? Don't answer unknown callers either. You could send the number, report it to the Better Business Bureau scam tracker. Also, check your bank statements just in case. All right, moving on to number 2. Gosh, I just think our world is looking more and more like Star Trek every day. Elon Musk's Starlink, that worldwide internet broadband service, it has over 5,000 satellites orbiting Earth. Just amazing. If you haven't seen any of those sites that show where the satellites are and how densely they are just occupying our space, you really ought to check it out. It's obviously a great way to get fast internet if you live in a rural area, or if you travel the countryside in an RV. And now Starlink is available in outer space. That's right. Isn't this something? Starlink is going to provide the internet to a future space station. The space station, Haven 1, is going to use Starlink's laser technology for up to 100 gigabit speeds. Isn't that something? It's the first time a commercial space station will connect to Starlink. They say the crew on the Haven 1 will enjoy fast Wi-Fi for streaming, research, and Wi-Fi for their personal devices. Hey, Mom, what's it like up there? Oh, hold on, honey. I'm in the middle of a science experiment. Let me call you right back. They'll also have Starlink internet for online gaming during off hours only. Moving on to number 3. Scammers target us when we are at our lowest and you're jobless, and then all of a sudden you go online and you get taken by this job recruitment scam. Not too long ago, a job seeker reached out to us after saying they went through several interviews at our company. Okay, and then this interview said, oh, well, we need you to buy a computer and we need you to buy a podcast setup and everything. And then when you buy it, don't worry that we'll reimburse you. And okay. That wasn't us. It was somebody just impersonating us. So here's the deal. If you're on LinkedIn, I want you to make sure that you always look for the verified recruiters tool, a checkmark badge on their profile. This way you know that they really are who they claim to be. That's right. And that's why you need to look at that badge. Moving on to number 4. When you think of a future with robots, what do you really see? Is it Rosie from the Jetsons? Is it Arnold Schwarzenegger from the Terminator? Just forget about that. The robots that we're likely to see working for us are really dogs. Yes. Researchers and scientists, They have figured out the perfect body, and it says it's not a human body. Instead, it has 4 legs. In a report from Axios, big robotics companies like Boston Dynamics are investing more in their Spot robot, the one that looks like a metal pooch, than the humanoid bipedal one. The Spot robot has already sold 1,500 units at $74,000. The dogs can handle 200,000 inspections for Boston Dynamics. They work to chase wildlife off airport runways in Alaska. They also patrol the Anheuser-Busch Brewery. Okay, 4 legs gives the bots a lot more balance. So that's why we're going to start seeing more of those. And finally, this coming in at number 5. This is a crazy story, really. We're going to have to go to New York City for this one. If you want to get some takeout, maybe you want some wings and some food from San Chicken. But instead of a cashier, you're going to be greeted by a woman in the Philippines who works via a Zoom call. For real, her name is Pai. She works at the restaurant remotely via Zoom. She works for a company called Happy Cashier. Now, in New York City, the minimum wage is $16 an hour. In the Philippines, it's $3.75. Yes. Customers tap orders on a digital kiosk. They chat through a speaker system. They, even though the hostess is not in the room with you, they still ask for an 18% tip. Yeah. Oh, the system has been dubbed cost-effective by the manager. Yes, walk this way. All right, coming up, we have a list of the different places that you're being recorded right now, and you probably never thought about it. Also, wow, a great tip, how to get the best AI chatbot results. And of course, we have all of your fantastic phone calls, and you have me. You don't want to miss that, Kim Komando. All right, let me tell you, this is the last weekend, your last chance to enter to win a $500 Amazon gift card. Somebody's going to win it on Monday. It could be you. It could be you, but it's not going to be you if you don't enter to win. You want to go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. And when you're there, of course, there is a catch. You have to get just one issue of my free newsletter called The Current, but you're going to love it. And then you can unsubscribe at any time, even if after the first issue. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. All right, Greg in Columbia, South Carolina.
Well, the email is so much full of trash, and 50% of what I get doesn't pertain to anything but people phishing. Mm-hmm. When you look at your email on the computer and you put your cursor over it, the address that pops up across the bottom of the screen, I mean, it's the whole screen. It's ridiculous. It has nothing to do with it.
Sure.
I had a brother-in-law. He had some type of service. He was a financial advisor. And if you sent him an email, you would get an email back saying, hey, you need to acknowledge this email. And from now on, you'll be able to get David. So I'm sitting here wondering, well, where is that kind of service?
You know who had that many, many years ago was Earthlink. But they had to get rid of it because too many people were not being able to use it. They were missing email. They were complaining, things like that. You know, when we start talking about just getting overwhelmed in email, the first line of defense, then we'll talk about what you're looking for, is that you have multiple email addresses. So you have one email address that is, Hot Greg in South Carolina, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That you're going to use for maybe if you're online dating, and then you're going to have another email address for your newsletters, another one for your business, another one for your family, another one for your personal. And then every time you sign up for something new, is that like with Apple, you have hide my email now, or you can use Google. And so if you were like Greg in South Carolina at gmail.com, you could say Greg in South Carolina plus Kim Komando at gmail.com. So all of my newsletters is going to come to you at that particular address, because anything after the plus sign in Gmail is ignored. But if somebody has compromised or sold your email address based on if you start getting other weird emails associated with that address. So your email needs to have like a complete overhaul right now. Okay. And that may solve the problem, because you're not just having everything just come in and then somebody sold the email address and you opened it up. And then, after you opened it up, you realized it was spam. But unbeknownst to you is that when you opened it, you got to the top of the food chain because it's like, this is a great email address, right? So what you're looking for is something like, for example, that I have on my phone, and Google has it as part of Google Voice, that before the caller comes through, they have to say who they are. Generally, it's called active screening, okay? And with active screening on your email, there is a service called Blue Mail that does this. It's $5 a month. And so if you accept them, the messages will appear. If you decline, you never hear from them again. Now, whether or not it's actually worth the $5 a month is that if you cleaned out your mailbox the folks that are spamming you are probably not going to use the same email address again. So before you think of active screening, and this is why this product category never really took off, by the way, for email, because they don't use the same address. So if you say no to this time, it's kind of like call blocking. You can block the call if it's a spam call, but doesn't mean you're never going to get another spam call again from somebody else, right?
That's true.
So I think instead of paying for this, what I'd like you to do is to spend some time putting together a couple of email addresses that you use, and then you can start deleting the old email address as you start transitioning to using different email addresses, and then you have a smart email management solution that works for you. Now, if you need any help putting that together, we got tons of tips on the website. Just search for Email Manager, email management over at komando.com. That's with a K, of course. And Greg, thank you so much for your call. Henry in Vancouver, Washington, you're up next.
I'm going to be in Northern Europe for 7 weeks on vacation this summer, and I will not have a secure way to access the internet, but I would like to be able to check my credit card, bank account, and investment accounts, and I would like to know if there's a safe way that I can do that, and also how I should manage my cell phone service while I'm in Europe.
Well, here's the deal. You're going to use a VPN, and, the VPN is going to secure your connection. And here you want to use ExpressVPN. That's one that I use, or I recommend. I've had them for years. They don't slow you down and all that other good stuff. You're going to not use public Wi-Fi as much as possible. You're going to set up two-factor authentication on everything, maybe even take it to a next level and use the Google Authenticator app and put that on your phone. And, of course, you're going to make sure that you are monitoring all your accounts and set up any type of alerts that you can set up, Henry. Maybe if somebody signs in from a strange browser, right? Because you're going to get the alert. Okay, oh, is this really you? And yes, it is.
Yeah.
You can set that up with your financial accounts that you need a second login ID. And so that could be a text. It could be through the Google Authenticator app. It could be via your email, whatever it may be. But I like the Google Authenticator app because it's a lot harder to tap into that if you're a hacker. Now, as far as how do you get access when you're in Europe, it really depends upon where you are. If you're going to be going all over Europe, different countries, then you can get local SIM cards. And these are no longer hard cards. They now are called eSIM cards. And you can buy them wherever you go. And then it normally comes with unlimited data for that particular country. And something that you might want to consider just for convenience is that you can call up whoever your provider is and say, I'm going to Europe for 7 weeks. And I'm going to these countries. What can you do to give me a deal while I'm there? And it may be as simple as saying, we're going to charge you $5 a day. So wherever you're located, and then we're going to limit your data. And so now if they are limiting your data, that's when you have to think about using things like Google Maps. If you're going to be driving or taking the train somewhere or whatever, just use Google Maps, download where you're going, and then you can have that so you're not using any data where you are, where you're located, because everything's being done offline. And you just try to do everything as much offline as possible. You turn off your background, because this is the way I travel. Turn off the background refresh on all your apps, because you don't need to have Instagram updating all the time and Facebook and your local news or whatever it may be. And then you just limit as much global data that you may be using. But it used to be sometimes $20 a day, but now it's not that way. So it really depends, where you're going. Is this something that you want to have the hassle with getting a SIM card? It's not hard to do. But one other tip before I leave you, Henry, is if you haven't already, make sure that you have a global ID.
No, I have a known traveler number.
Okay, so so have you gotten the global ID yet? No. Okay. If you have time, see what the wait time is, but you have to actually fill out an application and then go down and have a physical interview, and that includes TSA PreCheck, and it's $100 for 5 years. But when you want to get back into the country, no lines. Okay, it's like okay, do not pass go. I get to go on this lane, and it's pretty phenomenal. You just fill out on the app, and then when you hit submit, and then when you get there, it's literally 5 minutes to get through customs. There is the mobile passport app for just TSA PreCheck, your known traveler number. And, that's pretty darn good, too, because you can get through the kiosk. But if you're going to be going in and out of a lot of countries and things of that nature, is just make sure you might want to look at that global ID. It's what I have, and I travel a lot, and it works really, really sweet. Henry, thank you for your call. All right. Did you ever wonder what happens to online orders that the U.S. Postal Service or Amazon or Target or someplace else, they just can't deliver it? It gets sold online, often at really cheap prices. So where can you go? GovDeals.com, GovDeals.com. Now, fortunately, you're not bidding on some mystery box. You get to see a photo and description of every item. Now, another website to check is Liquidation.com. Now, the great thing about this site is that you can actually filter by brand or retailer. This includes packages and undelivered goods from Amazon, Home Depot, Walmart, and Target. Now, in the auction details, you get a brief description, the auction closing times, and an estimated retail value. All right, so I know you're like, wow, this sounds really great, Kim Komando. I want to go to govdeals.com. I want to go to liquidation.com right now. All right, there's always a catch. There's always some downsides. Some products that you are bidding on have been returned and are not in, what you'd say, pristine condition. Now, the other thing is once you buy something, there's no way for you to return it. So you want to make sure that you always ask customer service, are you sure that this piece of electronics actually works? Are you sure? And they're going to answer you, obviously. Again, govdeals.com or liquidation.com. All right, coming up, we have a list of the places that you're being recorded right now that you probably never thought about. And then later on, if you're frustrated with the results that you're getting from ChatGPT, well, there are other AI bots out there like Perplexity, but a lot of it depends upon the quality of your prompts, how you're actually asking that AI bot to give you the information that you need, that answer. Well, I've got some tips to make sure that you are getting the sweetest response every time you go to use an AI chatbot. Now, before we get to all of that and more of your phone calls, let me tell you, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we do Kim Komando Today. It's me, Andrew Babinski, and Ali Seligman joins us from time to time because she's just always super busy with the newsletters. But here nor there, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's when we do the live feed on youtube.com/Kim Komando. So if you're just getting the audio version of Kim Komando Today, why don't you check out the video version? Head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. If you're getting the video version, you're like, oh, I'd like to have the audio version, just search for Kim Komando Today, wherever you get your podcasts. But anyway, here nor there, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11:30 a.m. That's when you can join us at youtube.com/Kim Komando for the live event. You could always catch us on demand. But here's the deal. We interview some really, really great people. Here, check out this recent one.
So let's start at the beginning, Brian. What made you embark upon this, as you say, a rejuvenation athlete, taking your life in this direction?
It was a result of some thought experiments I did. And I like thought experiments because they help me, they show a mirror of what the most common thoughts are of one's time and place and allows you to travel in time. Okay, so here's the first thought experiment. Imagine that you're able to whisper in the ears of people who live in the year 1870. And you say to them, hey, just a heads up, there are these new ideas about these microscopic objects that are the source of infection. They're called germs. And if doctors wash their hands between surgeries, if they clean their instruments, if they wash their hands again before between delivering babies, that may reduce the death rate dramatically in this situation. Now, if you're in the 1870s, if your common response is going to be, that's nuts. You're telling me some invisible thing is causing death and we can't see it. So it's just like this, is this like some sort of, otherworldly thing? And so this is an example where the future is always present and it smashes itself up against the rocks of our current thinking. And that's what Blueprint is. Blueprint is from the future and it smashes up against the current norms. And so the kinds of things you guys were observing ahead of time is exactly the predicted response.
Well, it's an interesting analogy because I thoroughly believe that, think about, I still can't believe that people would say that when you smoked a cigarette, it would coat your throat, right? I mean,
8 out of 10 doctors agree. Go with filtered cigarettes.
yes. And then, of course, we all know what happened after that. So take us through your typical day, Brian.
Yeah, so I'll just to complete the thought experiment and what you said, and then I'll go through my day. So to complete that exercise, if we imagine that the 25th century is whispering in our ears and they say, psst, what would they tell us? And this is the entirety of my project. I think they would say, don't die. That after 4.5 billion years on this planet, we are now baby steps away from superintelligence. Now, when we have superintelligence in a decade or so, it's going to be a billion times smarter than us, a level of intelligence that is unimaginable to us. It's possible that with the superintelligence, we will be able to solve aging, and we may be able to live for a duration of time and with the level of wellness that is, again, unimaginable to us. And so the observation is, in the year 2024, the future is present. The question is, can we see it? And so in conjunction with Blueprint, I say, don't die individually, don't kill each other, don't kill the planet, and align AI with don't die. It is the only thing on humanity's to-do list.
Wow.
I don't know if we're going to be able to check that box. But like Kim said, What are you doing on a daily basis so you don't die?
Yeah, what I did is, I do about 100 things in a given day, and I try to make them invisible to me because I try to make it just part of my norms. And so the unique thing we did is we looked at every single scientific publication ever done on health span, lifespan. We then graded the evidence of each of those things, and then we did the power laws. And we said, where is the best evidence for the best health span, lifespan extension? And then we implemented every single one of those things. Well, not everyone. We implemented the power laws in me. And then I became the most biologically measured person in human history. And so my daily regimen is basically the most scientifically accurate approach on how to go about longevity and health span. And so, for example, I go to bed about 8:30 every night. Well, that's not true. I go to bed at exactly 8:30 every night, and it's very precise. And sleep is my number one life priority. I demonstrated 8 months of perfect sleep using a wearable. It was the first time, I think, in human history where someone demonstrated that level of sleep consistency. And I wanted to show that it could be done. And then I wake up around 4:35, 5:30. I wake up naturally. And then I'll do a 10,000 lux light in my eyes to get a few minutes of light. I'll weigh myself on my scale to get body composition data. I'll take my inner ear temperature. I measure that very closely. My body temp in the morning is around 94.9, 95.1. So I'm about 3 degrees Fahrenheit lower than what I was before doing Blueprint. And then I'll go downstairs. I'll do some HRV therapy, which is like your nervous system therapy. I do this little thing on my ear that has electrical current. And then I'll work out for an hour, and then I'll eat a few pounds of vegetables for breakfast. I'll do a few more therapies. I'll work for a couple hours. I have a few doctor's appointments and in the afternoon where I'll do various measurements. And then I have a nighttime protocol. And so basically I have like 2 or 3 full-time jobs. I'm building various companies and I'm doing this. So it's a lot of work. And I have an entire team helping me do this. But the thing is, I guess it's important to say is you don't need to spend $2 million and you don't need to do my lifestyle. I can give you 5 simple rules that are low cost that you can do to get the majority of the benefits. But you definitely do not need to be Brian Johnson to achieve these benefits. You can do them in a low cost fashion.
So what are those 5 things?
There's 5 power laws. 1 is don't smoke. Number 2 is 6 hours a week of exercise. But even if you can't do 6 hours, even 1 hour, if you're at 0, is great. 3 is eat a Blueprint-like diet, or you can say a Mediterranean-like diet. 4 is maintain a body mass index of between 18.5 and 22.5. And then number 5 is moderate alcohol consumption or 0. Those 5 things will get you to a life expectancy of around 92 years old. And then, of course, it also is helpful if you can try to avoid bad things. So try to avoid, junk food, try to avoid other things that would otherwise cause damage to your body. But the basics really are within reach of everyone. And then, as I mentioned before, making sleep your number one life priority. Like literally nothing's more important than sleep because everything else is a consequence of your sleep.
Well, this is a serious question. It may seem childish, but it's serious. In researching for this interview, multiple times in multiple different sources, it talked about that you want to make sure that you don't age your penis and your rectum. And it focused on that. Is that something that you put out there? Is that something that's important for all of us? Why would all these articles focus on those two parts?
Yeah, I mean, old rectums get cancer.
Okay, so that's why you're focusing on the rectum.
Yeah, and the penis is, it's sexual health is a bit of a taboo topic, and I am trying to raise awareness that our sexual health is really important to our psychology. It's representative of our sleep habits. It's representative of our diet. It basically, if you're not performing well sexually, you have other problems in other places of your life. And so it's a conversation that is needed. It's helpful. I mean, I've had so many of my friends approach me in private and say, I'm in a bad spot and I'm not quite sure how to crawl back out. But when you don't have sexual function, either desire or function, it's pretty devastating psychologically. And so I've really tried to just say, look, I'm playing around, I'm having fun. I'm more than willing to bring up topics that are controversial, that are awkward, but they're really important to all of us. There's few people who don't want a, productive, healthy sexual life.
Now, if you want to hear the entire interview, easy breezy. Okay. All you have to do is wherever you get your audio podcasts, just search for Kim Komando Today. And again, you can just watch the whole interview. I'll tell you, with Brian, super interesting guy. Head over to youtube.com/Kim Komando. All right, step outside your house and smile because you're being recorded. And here are some other places you might not have thought of that you're being recorded. Number one, your Uber or Lyft. A lot of rideshare drivers install cams recording both audio and video. Number two, the ATM. Not a shocker, but the cams have this big, wide camera, which means they're recording the surrounding area too. Three, a lot of workplace break rooms. Even when you're off the clock, there could be a camera keeping tabs on you. And number four, we have street lights. These are common in bigger cities like Chicago, LA, and New York. And five, the movie theater. Yes, they're there to deter and detect piracy. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls and more tips you don't want to miss here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you haven't already entered to win that $500 Amazon gift card, do it right now. I'm going to be giving it away in just a few days. Head to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Hey, listen, it could be you. Maybe it's your lucky day. Okay, the catch, you have to get just one issue of my newsletter. That's it. You're going to love it. Winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, Ron in San Francisco, California. Hi there, Ron.
Hi, I'm glad to be able to talk with you. You've been referred to me by a few people who are radio call-in people, and they said, this is your expert, Ron. Call her and ask her a few questions because I think she can help you.
All right, good. I'm here.
I've been working on for over 50 years plus student service projects.
Okay.
And originally we got domain names from a company called Network Solutions, which was a government oversight company. And then it went to the private sector. So my problem is now that we have domain names, and we hold ourselves about 250 domain names plus the extensions.
Okay.
And the problem that I'm finding is we can never catch up with the new extensions that come on. You have .com, .net, and .org, but the new extensions go up to, and they're expecting this year to be 600 of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like whack-a-mole.
And so they know that we have quite a bit, but we've stopped using our project names online because what it is a protection racket in a sense. And that we have to keep buying those domain names. And now they've come to me and said, oh, Ron, you've got them. These are the same people that sell the domain name who actually sell the extensions.
Of course they do, Ron. Of course. So let me tell you how to fix this problem, okay? And it's a pretty common problem because you're right. I mean, you have all these different domain names and you're trying to make sure that scammers don't pretend to be you, right? Okay. Exactly. So you have to buy the domain name and then you buy the extension. And then, of course, you have to renew the extension. And then you're like, oh, at the end of the day, you're like, I just have one domain or five, and that's the only ones that I want to use. And I'm tired of buying all these. So I'm not a lawyer. I can't give you legal advice, but let me tell you how to get around this. Okay. I own probably about 150 domains. So I feel your pain. And because we have a lot of traffic and because I have a pretty big brand, is that a lot of people will try to impersonate me. Okay. So in order to prevent this, if you go to komando.com, Ron, go to KOMANDO. That's the official homepage of the Kim Komando Show. And that's the show. That's it. That's the show page. If you go there, the bottom of the page, very bottom of the page, is that you'll see some legal mumbo jumbo. It says something like the Kim Komando Show, the Digital Goddess, the Digital Diva, Kim Komando, and all these registered trademarks. It's 2 million this, blah, 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 what the service number is and all that other stuff. The reason why that is there is strictly to prevent the extortion of what you're talking about, meaning that so that this way I can go to ICANN, that's the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers. I go to ICANN and I say, listen, so-and-so is impersonating me. Here's the domain, here's the server, even if they have no email address registered, is that you need to help me take them down because I am the registered trademark owner of this name and this brand, and nobody should be allowed to impersonate me on the entire internet. Now, if you do that, that's when you don't have to have all these different domains, every different 600 different extensions, because what you're going to do is establish the fact that you are the market leader and that there's fair use and nobody should be able to use your name, likeness, image, and trademark for anything at any time because you are using it. Now, if you're not using your trademark copyright, that's a whole different story. But if you're using it, then this is where you can protect it so you don't have to keep shelling money after, dollar after dollar after dollar, hundreds and thousands of dollars on different domain names and extensions. Again, head over to komando.com and look at the very bottom. I'll give you an example. And then you might want to run that by your attorney, your trademark attorney, intellectual property rights attorney, just to make sure that you've got yourself covered on how you can do this. So that this way, again, in case somebody does try to steal your domain, try to impersonate you online, you just go right to ICANN. That's ICANN.org, the Internet Corporation of Assigned Names and Numbers. And you say, make this stop. And they will do their best to do that. Ron, thanks for your call. And a big shout out to all your friends who told you about me. Where have you been your entire life, Ron? Now, if you ever have a question for me and you're like, oh, I'm just too shy to come on a radio show and a big time podcast, but I still need your help, Kim. Really simple. Just head over to komando.com. That's KOMANDO.com. Head to komando.com. And then there's a link there right at the top that says email Kim. Oh, you're so smart. Yes, fill out that form and send me your question. And I read every single one that you send. Our chat bots are only as good as the prompts that we give it. And here's a tip to make the most, is that you want to be precise with your prompts. Instead of just tell me about this spreadsheet, you want to say, what are the top 5 differences in the 2 spreadsheets and create 3-bar chart graphs to help me understand them. Yes, you can go that far. You want to give AI precise directions so that this way you can get back better results. Now, what if you don't like the answer that you got? Use the response as a stepping stone to ask for a more detailed response and then refine your ask. Okay, and you have to be very clear. And also tell AI the role that it needs to play. Say, be a marketing expert, be a data analyst, be a social media pro, a national radio host. Well, maybe not that one. I mean, you can't be a national radio host like me, but you can check me out at komando.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Komando Show. Here's Hour 4.
Okay, you may not know this, but Elon Musk first publicly started talking about a Tesla pickup truck. Wow, back in 2012. Yeah, the Cybertruck is finally out. The reviews are in, and wow, the folks who buy them, they're not really happy. They're saying that it just seems like this whole truck was a rush to market. One guy said that it made it 1 mile down the road before getting a steering error, flashing red screens, and then he had to pull off the side of the road. Another one, it was great for 5 minutes, tried everything, restarting, the screen is stuck black and it keeps beeping. Oh, geez, what a nightmare. The cost of the Cybertruck, are you ready for it? Starts at around $76,000 and can run up to close to $100,000. Boy, I'll tell you. But I don't get all the hate and sarcasm against how the Cybertruck actually looks. I mean, I want you to think about this. You just slap a minigun right on its back, and it's like Halo in real life. And on that happy note, welcome everyone. I'm Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you once again. And you're about ready to get more tech smarts because, every single thing is now a tech thing. If you're a brand new listener to the show, welcome. We're so glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. You look amazing. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top stations across the United States. You can also get us as a podcast or a webcast over at Komando.com. Just hit that link that says Komando Community. And you can also get us as a commercial-free podcast on Apple Podcasts and also Spotify. And I need 2 things from each and every one of you right now. Number 1, in order for us to continue to grow this show, I need you to tell at least one person about the Kim Komando Show. That's all, just one person. And number 2, tell me what you want to know more about. The easiest way for you to do this is just to hit Komando.com, and there's a link at the top right hand that says Email Kim. All right, every single day I go to at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure that we're both up to date on what's going on in the tech universe. And here are the top 5 things you need to know right now. And we're going to start with insurance. I know most of us have this love-hate relationship with our insurance companies, especially if you live in California. Wow. Insurers there are worried about wildfires and floods, and they're just canceling homeowners' policies. And now you can get canceled literally out of the blue, even if you don't live in California. Here's the reason why. A growing number of home insurance companies are canceling or just flat out refusing to insure thousands and thousands of customers after using drones. That's right, using drones to photograph the homes. The drones expose damaged roof shingles, backyards full of combustible junk, overhanging tree branches, and you're going to love this, swimming pools and trampolines that the homeowners failed to tell the insurance companies about. Yikes. So you might be sitting there saying, Kim, this is an invasion of my privacy. Oh, no. Probably not. Almost all of America has been cataloged from the air. Remember, if it's out in the open, you can legally photograph it. Exactly what the insurance companies are doing. Moving on to number 2, OddStage entertainers have scored a major victory in regards to AI. You see, there's this big fear that entertainers of all kinds, they're going to have some unscrupulous producers going to recreate them in AI without their permission. Most importantly, they're not going to get paid for it. So, case in point, comedian George Carlin, he's been dead for 16 years. But 2 months ago, a podcast called Dudesy used AI to recreate an hour-long special called George Carlin, I'm Glad I'm Dead. By the way, if Carlin was alive, that's probably what he would have called it. But of course, he's not, but his estate is. And it sued the podcast and everyone connected with it to stop the show, making sure that no more were created and that the recordings of the podcast would always be destroyed. Now, Dudesy says that, well, we didn't really use AI, so to speak. We use a George Carlin impersonator. Okay, doesn't matter. You can't do that. The ruling stands. The entertainers win this one, but I guarantee you there's going to be a lot more where that came from. Moving on to number 3, let's talk about kids and social media. Wow, social media is toxic. It's addictive. Social media companies exploit our kids. And we know for a fact that kids develop anxiety, depression, harassment, and of course, bullying as a direct result of social media. I mean, think about this. When you were a kid, if you were getting bullied, when you went home, you didn't get bullied anymore. But now when the kid goes home, he or she continues to get bullied. And aside from that, kids on social media see a normalization of improper sexual behavior, substance abuse, okay, and a whole bunch more. But listen to what's happening in England. There's a grassroots movement called Parents for a Smartphone-Free Childhood, and it's helping parents support each other in delaying giving smartphones to their kids younger than 16. Instead, they recommend buying young children dumb phones, basic cell phones that can make and receive calls and texts, but it can't really get into social media. It's a great idea. I'll tell you, if I had a kid that age, I would be rallying around parents saying, you know what, let's all band together and not give our children a phone until we all agree on the age that they should have them. Moving on to number 4, let's talk about your family secret code. Crime statistics are far too complicated for most of us to understand. That's what the experts say. But here's a simple thing that we can do as families to be safer. Okay. My son is now in law school, but when he started first grade, okay, he did have a phone. It was so restricted. Just had a couple of buttons, dad, mom, and granny. But with today's phones, I want to make sure that every family has a secret code in case you're in trouble. Okay, here's the reason why. Voice cloning, right? You might get that call that says, oh, mom or dad, I need your help. Grandma, grandpa, I need your help. Okay, how do you know if that's really legit or not? You ask the person on the other end to text you a code, something like an emoji, an owl, a crescent moon, a tree, something that you're not used to seeing. And then you need to talk to your kids and family members about all this, not just this quick chat, but an in-depth talk, and then agree to use this code whenever there's trouble or in case you need to authenticate who you are. And finally, this coming in at number 5, let's have a little fun. Let's remember some phrases that we used to use every single day, but we don't use them anymore. How about this one? Did you drop off the film to get developed? Oh, wow. Or how about this one about film? I remember my mom and dad telling me this all the time. Don't waste the film, Kim. Don't waste the film. Remember, we had like 12 exposure, 24 exposure, and then it was like, yes, 36 exposure, where you have so many pictures to take. Oh, how about another one? Where's the nearest payphone? Wow. There's an entire generation of kids who have never, ever seen a payphone. Ooh, speaking of, have you seen the yellow pages or the white pages? Oh, don't forget to rewind before you take that video back to Blockbuster. That's a 2-for-1, by the way. And how about something a little bit more low tech? Hey, roll down the window back there. I'm getting cold or I'm hot, whatever it may be. I'll fax this to you. Or we are out of fax paper. Jeez, this is something. All right, here's the deal. You never have to set your VCR anymore because everything that you want to see is streaming at least 1,000 times online. All right, coming up, we have all of your great phone calls, as well as 3 secrets that you should never tell ChatGPT or any AI chatbot. Oh, the easiest solution to tech issues that you're totally overlooking, and some stuff that you should never ever buy on Facebook, OfferUp, or Craigslist here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, we have just a week or so left for you to win that $500 Amazon gift card. How? Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Enter to win that $500 Amazon gift card. Okay, so what's the catch? The catch is you have to try one free newsletter in your inbox. That's it, just one, okay? And then you could enter to win a $500 Amazon gift card. Yeah, that's a great deal. Once again, it's winfromkim.com, winfromkim.com. All right, how about we start in Denver, Colorado with Chris. Hi there, Chris.
Hi, I'm a fairly new listener. I've only been listening for a few months. I own a small computer business that repairs broken Apple laptops, and then I sell them in a store on eBay. I spend a lot of time testing the fixed computers to make sure that they're reliable and high quality. So this allows me to keep hundreds of computers out of the landfill and make a living at the same time.
Awesome.
My question has to do with how to better promote my store. So how can I draw someone who's looking to buy a high-quality used laptop to my store, someone who is perhaps not already looking through the eBay listings one by one? I'm kind of having a hard time putting myself in a potential customer's shoes. Do people these days Google used laptop and how do they find? How do they go straight to Facebook Marketplace? Do they ask around on social media? Where do they look, and how can I attract them to my eBay store?
These are all great questions. So how are you promoting your eBay store right now, Chris?
Right now, I just rely on eBay's internal advertisement.
Okay.
Nothing else.
So would you consider yourself an Apple expert? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay, 100%. And that's the key, is that you want to establish yourself as a trustworthy brand, because anytime that you talk about used computers, this, is that you don't know what you're getting, right? I mean,
exactly.
And the worst thing you can do is go on Craigslist and buy somebody's used junk, and because it's just going to be a complete nightmare. And you can buy used goods on Amazon and other places. But if this were my business, Chris, I would showcase my ability in order to disseminate information and to set myself up as the expert in buying a used Apple laptop. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the way that I would do that is maybe participating in maybe some Reddit subgroups, some Facebook groups, and start doing an Instagram, maybe, with an image once a day or once every 2 days or 3 days about, here are some things that you need to look out for when you're buying a used Apple notebook. Here are some things that you want to make sure that you do before you actually sell or get rid of your Apple laptop. I mean, that because I'm sure you get, and there's personal confidential stuff on these computers, and you're like, dude, wow,
Oh yeah, I mean, I erase it immediately as soon as I get a broken one and it's fixed. That's erased, yeah. But yeah, you're right. Do you think that somebody would actually see that on a Facebook page or Instagram?
Well, it takes time. I would also encourage you to do a TikTok channel, YouTube, and to do just some quick 1-minute videos. And they don't have to be like 5 things you need to know before you buy a used laptop. It could just be one thing. The biggest mistake that people make when they buy, the biggest mistake when people sell, the biggest mistake when that what's going to happen to our landfills, and what are the materials inside? How long should an Apple laptop really last? Think of all the questions that you get asked. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then, of course, you have Craigslist, you have Facebook Marketplace. You could also, start looking at inside your local community in Denver. Maybe doing like a once a month, at a local coffee shop, 5 tips to using your laptop a little bit better, And so a lot of this goes out where you're going to start engaging people with your brand, and you are establishing the credibility, and you need to come up with a good shtick, Chris. Okay. You can't be this guy who's just standing there in a nerd shirt, with your company logo on it. Maybe you're the nerdy guy in the Hawaiian shirt. And so you become memorable. Maybe you do a little dance in the beginning, or you do a dance at the end, because people want to be informed, but they also want to be entertained. I mean, you've only been listening to the show for a while, so where the heck have you been? Number one. Number two is that I don't know if you've ever heard me call myself the digital goddess. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay. That is a shtick. Okay. Do you think I go to a dinner party and say, hello, nice to meet you, I'm the digital goddess? No, I don't do that at all. It's a moniker. It's to kind of make fun of myself, but to also say, I know what the heck I'm talking about. So, with your eBay store, make sure that you have precise descriptive titles, high-res images, feedback.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you have a great rating. Use social media. Maybe you do some before and after photos of the laptops. This is what it looked like before. This is what it looked like I got after. And you start getting into the communities. Google's the number 1 search site. YouTube's also number 2. Okay. So how to buy a used laptop, how to erase my data on a used laptop. And, you may need to buy some Google ads, Facebook ads, in order to make sure that you do make sure that you're also getting your word out there. Set yourself up on Google with your business. That's really important. And there, make sure you have your phone number. And I cannot stress to you enough that you need to do email marketing.
Okay.
Where you have at least a monthly, bi-weekly newsletter that you're sending out to anybody who has purchased anything from you in the past, anybody who's interested in getting more information, because that's where you can say, refer to me, somebody to buy a laptop, and I'll give you a $20 gift card to Amazon. So you have all these different trigger points and all these different levers that you can pull. And I just threw a whole bunch at you.
Yeah. The newsletters I've been thinking about, but it seems counterproductive because people usually only buy one laptop and then they don't want to know about future offers, right?
But if you were giving me continuous knowledge, continuous information, and if there was an incentive for me to refer somebody, and especially if you were just a nice guy, I can tell you're a nice guy, Chris. I can't, and that I would want to help you.
Yeah.
So that's really where the interest comes in email marketing, and also collaboration with other businesses. So I want you to think about all this. And, I'm an entrepreneur. I started my own business. I have no debt. I have no investors. I'm not part of any big Westwood One, Premier, iHeart, nothing. It's just me, and we have a fabulous team here. And so if I can help your business, I really, really want to. So think about everything that I just said. And then I'm sure you're going to have some questions afterwards. And then just give me a call back and we'll take it to the next level. By the way, that email newsletter, just look at MailChimp or Constant Contact. MailChimp, they actually have a better deal on a free platform. So you might want to start there first. And Chris, best of luck to you again. If I can help you, just give me a call back. All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about the easiest solution to tech issues that you're overlooking. Okay, I'm sure you've heard it from your IT department. You call down and you're like, oh, it doesn't work. my printer's stuck, my computer's stuck, I got the blue screen of death, I got the spinning beach ball. And they're like, have you tried to reboot it? And you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. And it's almost like they're making fun of you, isn't it? All right, it's not a slight, truly. Powering down is sometimes all you need for a quick fix, no matter what it is, even if it's your router, your modem. You see, turning device off and then back on again is called power cycling. And it really does cure a surprisingly large number of tech issues. I mean, if your computer's running really slowly, maybe you have a bunch of sneaky processes just running in the background, just hogging system resources. But guess what? Hit the restart and you have just shown them the door. Can't connect to Wi-Fi? Try a restart. It's like redialing when you get a crappy line. And let's not forget software glitches. I'm talking about little bugs. A lot of these can be nuked with a simple restart. It really is tech support's go-to solution for a reason, because it just works more often than you think. Hey, listen, if you have a tech issue that you need some help with and you're just too shy to call the show, head over to komando.com. That's KOMANDO.com and hit that link that says Email Kim. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as the top stuff you should not buy online here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, if you're online dating or if you know somebody who is, oh my gosh, I have some terms that you need to know about coming up in just a few minutes. And then later on, Craigslist, OfferUp, Facebook, of course, it's a great place to buy some used stuff and maybe for cheap. But there are things that you should never buy, just never, ever buy on Facebook, OfferUp, or Craigslist. I'm going to be telling you more about those. And before we go back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about AI and chatbots. I mean, ChatGPT and the other AI chatbots, of course, they can do so many things. They can create art. They can figure out problems, do math. They can write entire books. But I'm telling you, you just have to be smart about using artificial intelligence. Here's the big reason why. Anything that you give it, you prompt it, you tell an AI chatbot, it is just being collected to improve it for everyone and for everything. But we don't really know how all this intelligence is being saved and how it's being used. So that's why you have to be smarter than AI. Here are 3 things that you should not share ever. Like, for example, your personal information. I'm talking about your date of birth, credit card numbers, bank accounts, social security numbers, medical IDs. Now, if you do, say, upload an image for AI to analyze and it's your EKG or your medical report or whatever it may be, I want you to make sure that you first put that into a photo editing program and you redact any type of details. Next on your list, relationship troubles, mental health struggles. Don't go onto AI and say, I'm just wondering about this depression and what can I do about it? I mean, see, what happens is when you sign in to use a chatbot, these chats are tied to your account. And really, who knows where that conversation is going to end up, because it can be tied to you because you signed in and also your IP address. And finally, anything that's original. I'm talking about if you are a software coder, any type of content that you create. You're a writer, you're an artist, a musician. Here's the reason why. The AI chatbot can use your original stuff to help someone else out. Now, along the same lines, talking about sharing trade secrets, that's a definite no-no. Business plans, again, don't do that, as well as any company email. All right, let's see. How about Joan in Indianapolis, Indiana? Hi there, Joan.
Well, I first of all want to thank you for taking my call and to thank you for sharing your wisdom.
You're sweet. Thank you.
Greatly appreciate it. So here's my question. I'm a landlord, and I'm looking for an easy way to check backgrounds, criminal backgrounds, and financial status of my applicants, and I wondered if you had something that you would recommend.
Well, how are you doing this now?
Right now, I have them fill out an application, and I take it to the local sheriff's department, and they give me that information, but it's just for our local county. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know, if they move out of the county, who knows what's going on. Yeah. And then the other thing is that I can accept a Zillow application, but because I do advertise on Zillow, mm-hmm. But in order to read the results, I have to provide them my Social Security number, my information. And I didn't know if that was safe or not. So I'm just wondering what you think about that.
You know, it's always that question. Well, let's talk about some ways that you can just do a background check, and then we'll talk about the whole Zillow.
Okay.
So what you can do is that the big credit companies like Experian, they have something called Connect. And this way you can purchase and view credit reports. And obviously you're going to need their permission to do this and in the application.
Right, of course.
TransUnion has a similar thing called SmartMove.
Okay.
And Zillow, as you know, with the rental manager, is that they have a tenant screening tool as well. And the whole reason to get your Social Security number is to make sure that there's not going to be a bot, or maybe it's going to be tied to something with some IRS reporting. So there's reason to do that. You know, and it's always cautious. You're like, oh, my Social Security number, I better not give this out. You know, if it's a legitimate company and you know you're on a legitimate site and you see that lock in the browser URL, and you just didn't click a link out of nowhere that just popped in your mailbox, then I know it feels icky, but it's probably going to be okay.
Okay.
It's, you know, because I experienced this myself. I wanted to renew my global entry card. And of course, you know, they ask for everything when you're doing that. It's like,
right.
Yes. Here's a piece of my hair. Here's some DNA, my mother's maiden name, you know, and it's like, and we all sit there and cringe. But if you feel confident that you are in the right place, then I think it would probably be okay. So so those are the places where you would get the background check. Now, criminal history, that's probably something else, like you said. You take it down to the sheriff's office, but you can do a nationwide background check on several websites. There's employment verifications. But I think, you know, taking a look at this Experian Connect and the TransUnion SmartMove, as well as, you know, don't forget about your gut. You know, a lot of people forget about that. You know, it's like, does it feel right? Does everything check, you know, all the boxes? And now, is this person from the military? They're moving in, but you know, and then all of a sudden it just starts feeling pretty scammy, because that's the whole shtick that they're all trying to use right now, pretending to be from the military, and they have to move and they need 3 months free or whatever, you know, the whole thing is. Have you experienced any of those type of scams?
No, I haven't.
That's good.
No, I've been pretty lucky. But I just want to make sure that I'm not putting myself out there.
Yeah, and that's always a concern. It is, because we always want to hold that Social Security number close to our vest. And in reality, we probably as a nation need to come up with some other type of ID other than a Social Security number, because let's just face it, they're all just for sale right now. Mine too, yours too, Joan, right there on the dark web. And they're really not selling for very much. And that's why it's super important that we always keep track of our credit, and we freeze our credit. And we go ahead and put alerts on our bank accounts if there's unauthorized access, or if somebody tries to make a charge on a credit card over $50 and the credit card isn't on the premise. And you start paying attention to all these different alerts. And I know it's a major hassle. It is. It's just a pain in the butt, because I get them too. But we do need to just make sure that our whole identity does stay safe. Joan, thank you so much for your call today. I just love taking your questions. It's so fun. All right. 39% of couples today say that they met online. Whoa, isn't that something? That's the good news. The bad news, along your online dating journey, you're bound to talk to a lot of duds and crazies and losers. So to stay prepared, here are some dating trends that you might encounter as you're looking for love. Number one, breadcrumbing. That's when someone sends just enough text, just enough messages to keep you interested. Minimal effort dating. My advice, don't respond, move on. Number two, orbiting. Have you ever had someone ghost you, but they still keep up with all of your social media, liking your posts, watching your stories, but never, ever actually speaking to you? That's called orbiting. Kick them out of orbit and just block them. And finally, number 3, zombieing. Someone ghosts you, then they reappears, and they act like, oh, well, I mean, what's wrong? Is everything okay? It's like they've come back from the dead. Yeah, let them stay there. Again, the terms are breadcrumbing, you don't want, orbiting, say no, and zombieing, and just bury them. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as later on a really important tip that you need to know about. Some things that you should never buy on Facebook, Craigslist, or OfferUp, or any place else like that here on the Kim Komando Show. Do you know, every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I want you to set an appointment with me, because that's when we do our live podcast called Kim Komando Today. Oh, it is so much fun. It really is. I mean, if you just watch it once, you're going to be like totally hooked. So if you don't want to get hooked, don't watch it. It's at youtube.com/Kim Komando. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's 2:30 p.m. on the East Coast, where we talk about the top tech news. We show some trending videos, and we just kind of like, I don't know, just have a fun time talking about all things digital. So that's Kim Komando Today. That's the video feed. Now, if you're like, well, Kim, I'm more of an audio person because I like to go on walks and I like to take you with me. Well, there you have 2 options. You have Kim Komando Today that you can get as an audio podcast. And you can also get this show, the Kim Komando Show. That's my big show on over 420 stations. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, just know that you can always bring me along with you. That's Kim Komando Today. That's the video podcast on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Then you also have Kim Komando Today, Tuesday and Thursday too. But if you want the show, this show, commercial free, that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I know we have so much going on here. All right, back to the phones we go with Patrick in Columbia, South Carolina. Hi there, Patrick.
Well, I tell you, communication satellites are of high interest to me. And you put out an article a few days ago about the Blue Water 3 communication satellite.
Right.
And so I mentioned it to my friend who is in the forestry business, and he's always off the grid, seems like. And he said there's something else called Starlink. Mm-hmm. And I was wondering if you could kind of correlate the two or tell me if it's going to be like, competition or something like that.
Well, Blue Walker 3, it is 26 feet per side. This thing is huge, okay? And it's so bright that everybody's all ticked off about it because it outshines 99% of all stars in space. It's like, and I want you to think of it as like a huge floating cellular tower in space. Okay. And so the whole idea though, Pat, is that, we have all these cell towers and there are places where, you know what I'm talking about, even in like sometimes in my kitchen, I'm like, okay, I have no bars and I'm in my kitchen, right? Okay.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And the funniest thing was, I'll tell you, I climbed Machu Picchu with my son, Ian, years ago. And I'm on the top of Hainu Picchu. You see that picture is on the cover of every geography history book in schools. You know what I'm talking about? You can see that picture of Machu Picchu. And so, Machu Picchu is just that first layer. Now, when you get up to the top of that mountain, that's called Hainu Picchu. Okay. So Ian and I climbed to the top of the mountain, Hainu Picchu. And so, I mean, now you know where I am. I'm like in South America on the top of this mountain. And so I look at my phone and you know what, Patrick? I had 5 bars. 5 bars.
Oh my goodness.
Right? So I figured
you can't get reception in your kitchen.
No, exactly. And then I call my husband Barry. I'm like, because I'm going to take a selfie of me and Ian and send it to him. And then I call him and it's like, I'm like, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm at Tommaso's, an Italian restaurant on 32nd Street in Camelback. I'm like in the center of town. Guy can't talk to me. Anyway, so I digress. So Blue Walker 3 is a satellite, rather. It's going to be providing cellular service to all areas around the globe. Okay, AT&T's behind this one.
Okay. Oh, good.
Okay, and because it's far away from Earth, the latency is going to cause some lag in the communication. Okay, and it also works in communication with cellular towers. So it's not just a satellite that's going to go direct to your phone. It's going to go to satellite. It has to go to cell tower, and then it has to go to your phone. But they say it's going to be pretty seamless. It's just now getting started. Now, Starlink It was developed by SpaceX. That's owned by Elon Musk, right? Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. And so they have these low Earth orbit satellites that right now, that if you want to get internet access and you're a rural community, you're an RV, you're on a boat, whatever it may be, is that you can get internet access. And I'll tell you, I have Starlink as a backup internet service at my houses. I also have Starlink on my boat. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And the equipment is about $600 for a residential connection, and it's about, say, $120 a month. It's more if you're going to put it in an RV. It's more if you're going to put it in a boat. And there are ways around it. Like a friend of mine says, well, just take the satellite with you when you go on your boat, which, is the Starlink's, little receiver, which you can do. It's about the size of a big iPad. But I'm like, well, then I got to go climb on the roof, and then I got to take it down. It's like, I don't know if I want to do that with that. So, but Starlink is now getting into, drum roll please, satellite cellular service. So they're going to be in competition with each other. So Starlink right now is just internet access. But they had a satellite that they launched last April that was going to be going up in Earth's orbit, low Earth orbit for cellular service, but it got screwed up on the launch pad, and they did a deal with T-Mobile, and so they're still trying to get that. They think they're going to be probably rolling out that sometime next year. So the bottom line here is that maybe at some point we won't have a place anywhere around the world where we won't be able to make a phone call.
Well, that's super cool. I'm familiar with the GPS systems that the military uses from my time in the service, and those work like a charm.
Right.
Do navigation and stuff like that.
So and that's exactly where we're going now with internet access and cellular service. That wherever we are around the planet, is that we'll be able to make a phone call, which is really something, because think of the implications with that. Is that you won't have to, say, when you go to Europe, you don't have to get a new SIM card. If you are out and about, and now Apple's really the only phone that has it, the SOS capability that you can get help when you need it. We are living in truly, truly exciting times. Patrick, thanks for your call today. Satellite internet access is just crazy. We put a link inside of our free newsletters the other day where you can see all the satellites that are going around planet Earth right now as compared to the 1960s. If you missed it, go back in the archives and just click that link, because it was really something. And if you're not getting our newsletter, sign up now at getkim.com. All right, I can't stress this enough. You have to be super careful when buying anything on Facebook, because it just might kill you. Listen to this. Recently, a California woman bought a hemorrhoid ointment on Facebook. Okay. She died. It poisoned her. Tests found that the stuff, mailed from Vietnam, contained a lethal 4% lead. So don't buy that, and don't buy any health or makeup or skincare products, because if you don't really know where the product is coming from or how it's being stored, it really is super risky. Another thing not to buy, secondhand goods. I'm talking about infant seats, cribs, toys, and helmets. There are still listings of baby seats on Facebook Marketplace that were recalled, causing major head injuries. And always head to the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission site. That's cpsc.gov. Use their search tool before you buy anything used online. That's cpsc.gov. Just a reminder, sign up for my free newsletter right now while you're thinking about it at getkim.com.